Traders, Raghee here. The market that this week I was not expecting to necessarily be focused on, but here we are, is crude. OPEC could not come to an agreement. I believe they're still kind of going back and forth. There's a lot of concern that OPEC, this disagreement, this lack of a meeting of the minds regarding the output production easing. In other words, the cuts that they have, output production cuts, we're going to ease the output production cuts last week, could not come to an agreement. And whenever OPEC spends a little too long making a decision, we start to see traders and investors get concerned about the cohesion, the message, and ultimately whether or not this is the precursor to OPEC demise. Well, let's not get too carried away. We know the market tends to overreact, and let's capitalize on this overreaction. So how would we do that? Well, in the case of this, it's a daily chart of the CL. Moving lower, the closer we can get to this 21 exponential moving average, the happier I will be. Now, if we actually just dive into the wave within the double green structure of the market, I am definitely bullish, 100%. The weekly chart's heading higher. There's just too much bullish to not look for these dips as buying opportunities. This is a good old-fashioned buy the, you know what, dip, right? That's what this would be. And buy the dip, by the way, is just a kind of cute way of saying we're looking for a retracement. We're looking for a reversion. We're looking for a move that just corrects an overall uptrend. And this one's just going to have a little bit more drama behind it because of this OPEC situation. This is also going to affect our ETFs. And the one that I would recommend keeping an eye on, the two actually, XOP, and XLE. XOP and XLE, all right? And so these two, you can see, are also moving lower with the volatility in crude oil. By the way, my futures traders and my ETF traders are going to like this narrative. ETF-wise, we have oil stocks moving with the futures contracts, both the CL, crude oil futures, and RB, RBOB gasoline futures. I like these both for potential pullback buys. We just know it could be a little bit more volatile. And I'd love to see a slightly lower low tomorrow and a narrow body candle, maybe even a doji before we start to move higher. So some kind of doji would be great if we could get it. It could be, anything that gives us a longer wick. We would like a longer wick to the downside, because that shows the market was able to make a sort of a panic lower low, an exhaustive low, and snap back up. So the length of the candle should not be anywhere near as long as this one. It can have a lower low. I would love for it to touch the top line of the wave. Or in the case of crude oil, I would love for it to touch the 21 exponential, and then we can move higher. If we don't get that lower low, but instead tomorrow get a narrow little inside day, preferably below the halfway mark of today's candle, that could also be an opportunity to get long. That pause candle, even if we don't get a lower low. So keep those situations in mind. And then in the premium video, we're going to talk about not just some of the other relative outproducing stocks within this narrative of crude oil and gas. We'll talk about natural gas, which is not related to OPEC, but energy has been a strong corner of the market. And we're going to talk about preparing for tomorrow's FOMC meeting minutes, a little sneak behind the conversations that were occurring in front of the statement release on June 16 and the press conference. We get a look behind the conversations that clearly broke the reflation trade, corrected the market some, and it could be some volatility tomorrow. We want to stay opportunistic about it. We'll talk about that in the premium video. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.